Imagine getting a text from your own mother on your wedding day asking why she's standing in an empty locked venue only for you to reply that you changed the entire location just so she couldn't crash it. I am the black sheep of my family, but not the cool rebel kind, more like the invisible kind. I have 3 older brothers who are all married with kids, and because of a huge age gap, they always treated me like an unwanted roommate rather than a sister. Growing up, I was always the afterthought. My clothes were always their worn-out hand-me-downs, and my milestones were just chores for them. For my 16th birthday, my parents told me they couldn't make my celebratory dinner because my dad had an urgent last-minute medical procedure, but when I called the hospital later that night to check on him, the front desk told me they had absolutely no record of him ever being checked in. They had actually gone to my oldest brother's lake house for a barbecue instead. From my high school graduation, everyone suddenly developed a severe cough, and from my college graduation, all 3 of my brothers claimed they had teeth cleaning scheduled at the exact same hour on a Saturday morning. I remember sitting on that football field watching other families cheer while looking at my own rows of empty seats. For years, I went to weekly therapy trying to fix myself, crying on a couch, thinking I was fundamentally broken until my fiancé proposed and we threw an engagement party. We wanted to give them one final test. Every single member of my family RSVP'd saying they had sudden medical emergencies that started exactly at 8 p.m. on a Friday night. Sitting at my own party, surrounded only by my fiancé's loving family who treated me like gold, something inside me finally snapped. The illusion was gone. I blocked every single one of their numbers that night and didn't look back. We planned our wedding in total secret for 4 months, only inviting 60 of our closest friends who actually cared about us. 3 weeks before the big day, my mom called me from a completely random burner number screaming about why she hadn't received her gold-foiled invitation yet, and I simply told her that based on the last 10 years, I knew she'd be too busy anyway. She called me ungrateful, but I just hung up. 2 days before the ceremony, my future brother-in-law called me in a complete panic, saying my mom had somehow tracked down his personal social media and was begging him for the venue address and timing. That's when we realized they weren't just curious, they were actually planning to show up unannounced just to cause a massive scene and play the victims. We immediately called the venue manager, who was an absolute angel, and after hearing the nightmare story, she agreed to move our entire wedding to a completely different building on the far hidden side of the property, while keeping the original hall completely dark, unlit, and locked tight. On the morning of the wedding, while I was getting my makeup done, my brother-in-law sent me a photo from the main parking lot. It was my parents, my brothers, their wives, and all their kids fully dressed up in expensive formal clothes standing outside the locked glass doors of the empty hall, looking completely clueless and humiliated. They tried turning the heavy door handles, paced around the hot parking lot, making frantic phone calls to anyone they knew, and eventually gave up and drove away in anger after 30 painful minutes. Meanwhile, just a few hundred yards away in the beautiful sunlit building, my mother-in-law was smiling and walking me down the aisle, and for the first time in my entire life, I actually felt what it was like to have a real family who showed up when it mattered.